meeting. Today is Tuesday, December 7th at 8:30 a.m. It is my pleasure to call the Finance and Physical Resources Committee of Kent County to order. I'd like to welcome fellow commissioners, staff, guests we have today, and anyone watching online. Thank you for taking time today to follow your local government and what we proceed to do for our business. We will take a motion, please, to approve the consent agenda. Okay, moved by Commissioner Breavy, supported by Commissioner Sparks. Questions or comments on the consent agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor of passing the consent agenda, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. That brings us to item number 2 from the Administrator's Office, Ready by 5 millage allocations for 2022. Al?
Action requested. Recommend to the Board of Commissioners to allocate $9,744,947 in Ready by 5 millage funds for 2022 as recommended by First Steps Kent. The Ready by 5 Resident Proposal Review Committee evaluated 2022 funding requests and made recommendations regarding funding for each service. For this round of funding, First Steps Kent received 31 proposals and recommended funding 28. The recommended allocation includes $7,597,672 for healthy development, outreach and navigation programming, early learning, parent education and support, translation, interpretation support, child safety initiatives, and home visiting services. $253,240 for data collection, technical assistance, and contracted evaluation services, and $392,879 for administration. These recommended amounts are in addition to the $1,501,156 in service contracts from the prior year that will continue through the end of 2022. The total funding is $9,744,947. The demand for millage-funded services dramatically increased in 2021. Between January and October, Ready by 5 served over 10,000 expecting parents and children through age 5 across all areas of Kent County. In 2021, the network of providers expanded to offer more services to families with specialized needs, including families experiencing homelessness, families who are immigrants or refugees, families engaged with foster care services or child protective services, and children with behavioral health concerns.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Support. Moved by Sparks and supported by Commissioner Bukowski, and we'll take questions, comments, and discussion. Yes, Commissioner Bukowski.
Thank you, Chair. I guess the question I have is this being year 2 funding, and we talked about, or not talked about, we approved kind of a ramp up. I have a thing about ramps. And so anyways, a ramp up funding is like, how is this, I don't know if we can see before January 3, just a quick pie or a chart on how it ramped up and how we're not going to like go too high with the ramp so as to spend too much of the millage money. So that's one request. The question is related to the second to the last bullet point where it said demand for the millage funded services dramatically increased. Was that the planned increase as services ramped up, or is that dramatically increased because of COVID or other circumstances? What's the guess or the hunch on why the dramatic increase?
Come on up.
Please, yeah.
Yes.
I can't invite you, I'm not the chair.
I'm
but
inviting you.
Please, thank you, Chair.
Yes, please approach the podium.
Appreciate it. Commissioner Bukowski, the question is a good one because what we are seeing is the organizations that provide these services for our youngest children are ready, for the community to open up again.
Could you speak into the mic?
yeah,
Otherwise,
certainly.
that's better.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the recording doesn't pick it up, and then all they do is see you talking and not hearing.
Thank you so much. Yes, so they're ready to open up, and as you mentioned, during COVID, it did slow things down, and it did diminish some of the services, so this is our opportunity to catch up. And we're seeing it in the applications, the answers to the RFPs.
Did you have any other comments you wanted to share while
No,
you're
we
here?
appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Anyone else? No questions or comments? Yes, Commissioner Green.
Thank you, Chair. I just had a follow-up question to Commissioner Bukowski's question. With the demand increasing in 2021 and the 10,000 parents and children in 2021, what did that figure look like for 2020? I'm just trying to contextualize how big the increase was.
It was around 4,000, 5,000 last year, so, and the 10,000 is January through October of this year, so we're not even through a full year. What we were trying to capture is, there really was not a lot of services provided due to the pandemic last year. This year, we're seeing much more need, and we anticipate that we'll continue to see more need as things continue to open up.
Great. Thank you for the context.
Okay, anyone else? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. That brings us to item 3 from the Treasurer's Office. Al?
Yes. Thank you.
Item 3.
Action requested. Recommend to the Finance and Physical Resources Committee to approve a transfer of $82,403 to the 2021 Treasurer's Budget from the 2021 General Fund Budget lapse. The 2021 General Fund Appropriations Act, or General Appropriations Act, Board Resolution 1119-2121 approved $1,330,046 for the Treasurer's General Fund budget. It is requested that $82,403 be transferred to the Treasurer's 2021 General Fund budget from the 2021 General Fund budget lapse. The additional funding will be used for unbudgeted expenses for replacement of interest tracking software, $24,000, and short-term bond insurance, $58,403.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Commissioner Breve and support by Commissioner Sparks. Questions, comments, and discussion? Yes, Commissioner Bukowski.
First, I'm disappointed the treasurer's not here today because I finally have some opportunities to put him on the hot seat, as he's done to me back in Lansing in his old job, and I see Mr. Orchard was sent in his stead to take the heat. My question is, why, for the love of Peter, do we need to spend $60,000 to insure our bonds? I thought the bond is a promise to pay. We have pains to have a AAA bond rating, so what's the likelihood of a default that we would need insurance? And $60,000 worth of insurance, we have hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank.
Morning, everyone. This is a different animal. This is a short-term tax bond that we take out for the benefit of the local treasurers. They're required to do it on their own, but the statute allows the county to consolidate the purchase of the bond for everyone else. It is to ensure the collection and distribution of the current taxes to the schools, community college,
Correct.
ISD, in the event of a hurricane or whatever, someone absconds with the funds. So we take it out, we pay it up front. We do get reimbursed, but the reason we're in the hole on it is, and this has given us fits for years, is the expense part of it is not budgeted. We do get reimbursed for most of it. We bill back the school districts and the ISD for their portion, but we're
Right.
booking it into a different general fund account, so we really aren't getting credit on the revenue side.
You mean for this insurance?
Yes, yes, so we do get reimbursed for most of it. It's an in and out kind of thing, but we have worked with fiscal and we've corrected it going forward.
All right, and if I heard you correctly, it's a requirement of state law we get this insurance, because I understand the program we have where we basically pay all the local jurisdictions and collection agencies up front. We get the bond, and then we collect the past due. I mean, is that part of that
No, it's
process?
a completely different animal.
Okay.
This is a requirement by the local units, period. They would have to take out the bonds individually, and they probably ask the county, the statute allows them to do this. Goes back 75 years, I bet. They probably asked the county to do it on their behalf, and we've been doing it ever since for them. It's really for their benefit, not for ours.
So it's a nice holiday present, the day after the Feast of St. Nicholas here, a $60,000 gift to our local collection entities. All right, well, please express my disappointment to the treasurer that I didn't get to grill him, and you had to take
Certainly
his
let him know.
place, so that's right. No, I'm smiling under here, so, all right, thank you so
All
much.
right, thank you.
Don't go. Don't go. Okay, that's all right. Go ahead, Commissioner Wooden.
Thank you. I just see that the transfers coming from our 2021 general fund budget lapse. Do we know how much we currently have projected in budget lapse for 2021?
Morning, Commissioner, good question, and no.
Could we figure that out? Just because if I'm recalling correctly, anytime we have lapse, it is automatically put into our undesignated fund balance. And even if the amount that is sent is above the 40% threshold that we try to maintain, as it's been told to me, explained to me, it's sticky and it's much more difficult to pull that out of undesignated fund balance in the future.
You'd have to deficit spend typically, which we don't recommend doing. So if you recall earlier this year, we had surplus last year, and we made an item for you, I think in March, maybe it was February, to move some to strategic capital, which is what we've typically done in the past. So with all the moving parts with CARES closed out and everything like that, I just want to make a guess on it. We're going to have surplus, we know that. And we'll probably have a motion coming up next year to move the extra surplus out so we don't incur that deficit spending going forward.
Yeah, and even though the fiscal year starts January 1, we can make those actions after it. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So Jeff, what's your estimated time frame to know that number? Do we,
You put me on the spot.
is
I
it
mean,
early January? Is it early February?
I would say early February probably. We'd have
Okay.
a decent estimate, but.
How's that, Commissioner Wooden? Why don't you table this to early February and then ask then?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Any other questions for agenda item number 3? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That passes. That brings us to item number 4 from DHHS, our 2022 current unmet needs funding. Al.
Action requested. Recommend to the Board of Commissioners to allocate $397,476 in funding for human services programs and services as recommended by the Department of Health and Human Services Board. The Board of Commissioners annually appropriates funds to the Department of Health and Human Services through an open request for proposals process. Funds are awarded by the DHHS Board following a review of the proposals submitted by various community or human service agencies. Programs and services approved for funding are for agencies and programs that receive assistance due to an absence of other funding sources, their ability to leverage significant other resources, or are in support of a cooperative effort of multiple funding sources. The 2022 recommendations include $397,476 to fund 18 programs for current unmet needs programs and services that begin in January 2022.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Commissioner Brevy and support by Commissioner Green. Was that? Bulkowski, support by Commissioner Bulkowski. And we will take questions, comments, and discussion, and we'll start with Commissioner Wooden.
Thank you, Chair. I am just sharing that I will be taking a page out of my colleague Commissioner Bulkowski's page and have to abstain from this vote. Genesis Nonprofit Housing, while is a separate entity to my employer, Dwelling Place. Dwelling Place is a subcontractor of Genesis. We manage their properties, and while the resident sports coordinator is not directly does not directly affect our financial performance, it indirectly affects the contractor's performance as a property manager. So I will be abstaining.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, or discussion? Yes, Commissioner Bulkowski.
I have to continue to whine about people's absences because I have to play both parts in the drama today.
Oh, don't worry, I'll take Commissioner Morgan's part.
Please take Commissioner
Yeah,
Morgan's
I've got
part.
it.
Okay, then take it, then I'll follow it up because I'm always second in the drama. Please take it.
So why don't we have Peter come on up? Paul. Peter, Paul.
Paul Peter.
Paul, come up. Thank you very much. And we do have questions on this one. I think it's a phenomenal piece that we're able to do for our community. I do know in the past it's been higher, it has gone down over time. I was wondering if you can highlight which ones might be new this year compared to previous years?
Sure. Some of those that are actually new this year that were not funded previous, and we actually have a board member as well here from DHHS, Betty Zystra, if she could also come up. I know she would
Sure.
welcome explaining a little bit. But there were a couple that actually were not funded last year, or funded this year that were funded last year, and there are 3 of those. One of them actually was not funded, and that was the Intercity Christian Federation. 2 of the other ones that were not funded this year, that were funded last year, was Alpha Grand Rapids, and they did not apply this year. And then the third one that actually applied last year and was funded last year, but was not funded this year, was the YWCA. They resubmitted an application last year for counseling services to domestic abuse services.
So maybe I can.
Please, come on up.
Good morning. So first of all, thank you for appropriating this money to the DHHS board. It is a good thing to have that, and we appreciate getting those funds. I just want to make sure that Veda Selden Johnson is also acknowledged as the director, along with Tracy Fountain at DHHS, and the good work that they do. So I'm not sure you said this, Paul, so let me just clarify. ICCF, Intercity Christian Federation, did not apply this year. So that's why they're not funded. The new entities include Bethany Christian Services. They were last funded in 2015, so I'm basically saying they're new.
Thanks.
Boys and Girls Club of Grand Rapids is new. Sheldon House Program of Cherry Health is new, and Women's Resource Center. And the remaining ones have been applying for either a number of years or a couple of years. So I just want to say as background, what was helpful for the board was at a meeting or 2 before we got the applications to review, we had a meeting that included Paul Peter and ENTF Director Wendy Randall. Even though they get funding, her role there was to talk to us about what are the needs in the community, make sure we're listening to what that's ENTF's role, really, and whatever the county was talking about, so that we had some good context as well. And then we came together, read the applications, did our work that you always all do about reviewing what the specific ask is, what is the context in the community, what are the other needs, what is other funding, the qualities of the application, and all of that. We look at it every year distinctly. This is another distinct year. But the pandemic does have something to do with all of this and other funding. So we looked at all of that. I just want to say 2 of them, Boys and Girls Club and Sheldon House of Cherry Health, were funded this year at higher amounts because, and they asked for more, because we heard in our conversations with, as I told you, with the leaders in this community, that mental health services are a real need. And so those were the applications that were the first time we've really seen that. And so we wanted to make sure we responded to that with the information we had. Beyond that, we tried to categorize, be consistent where we could, like with similar kinds of services, try to look at that, and then look at what they did ask for, what they have received in past years. That's what we basically did.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Commissioner Bukowski. Did I do a good job teeing this up? Because I know Roger Morgan's the one.
Yes, you did a good job, but
Roger Morgan's always the one that glows on how great this is and what a
Exactly.
wonderful piece that we're able to do this, that there's no other county that we're even aware of that would have something like this.
Exactly.
Did I fill in that gap?
You
It's a
did, you
big shoe
did.
to fill, and I
It
have small
is.
feet.
It
but-
is. I'm just going to suggest you maybe an adult acting class with Commissioner Green at the Civic, because just to get up to Commissioner Morgan's status in this. And my role is to say, yes, it is fantastic that we're able to do this, and at the same time, just these applications are $800,000, and we're able to fund $400,000. I've heard tell, Ms. Zylstra, that you had some experience in the nonprofit and human service arena. Congratulations on your retirement. a few years back. Like, what, I don't, like the full potential of unmet needs, but I mean, how much could DHHS practically and effectively allocate in unmet needs? If you said, hey, ask for unmet needs, as my hunch is this is a pretty targeted request that goes out to the community.
So that's a big question, right, Commissioner?
Does anybody ever ask that question?
So I've only been on the board of 2 years, I guess. I'm sure they have. I'm sure that that's been discussed even at our meeting this last time and last year when I was part of this. The issue is always this money is important. It's significant. It's a good relationship. It's amazing that the county is doing this. It's also true, it's just a drop in the bucket, but that's our reality, right? And so that's why we try to take seriously what are the other funding sources, what are they able to leverage, other agencies, what is coming in, and where might be those places that have fewer opportunities for other resources. But Commissioner, I'm not sure how to answer that either, except it stands on its own as being important. And then we do our best to try to make those decisions. We have talked about, at a meeting with the directors and the 3-member board, Ms. McCoy is the chair, he was sick today, otherwise she would be here, and Jerry Koyman and myself. We've talked about maybe next year, we start this conversation a little earlier and again, look at where we're at with needs in the year. Maybe, the question is always, do you fund a number of agencies a little bit? Do you look at trying to target needs and put more? Those are all discussions we can have, and any input is from commissioners.
All right, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? All right, thank you very much. Okay, seeing none for additional comments, questions, or discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Any abstentions? Commissioner Wooden isn't here, but he noted one. We'll just note his abstention. Any opposed? Same sign. All right, with that, the motion passes. Commissioner Wooden, we noted your abstention from that, item number 4. Okay, we'll go to agenda item number 5, which is from Kent County Community Action. Al?
Yes, action requested, recommend to the Board of Commissioners to authorize an extension from a 24-month agreement to a 30-month agreement between Kent County and Community Rebuilders for the delivery of tenant-based rental assistance to increase the grant agreement to be $1,813,000 in home funds for TBRA, tenant-based rental assistance, and to authorize the board chair or designee to execute the agreement, approve extensions, amendments, and increases to the agreement amount not to exceed 15% of the agreement amount set here. In 2019, Kent County issued a request for proposals for TBRA on behalf of the Wyoming-Kent County Home Consortia. TBRA provides rapid rehousing services for individuals and/or families experiencing homelessness. Kent County and Community Rebuilders entered into an agreement per Resolution 2/1919-121 that resulted in a $900,000 contract with Community Rebuilders for a performance period of 1/1/2020 to 6/30/2021. The first amendment added $800,000 for a new total of $1.7 million. The second amendment extended the agreement to 12/31/21, establishing a new 24-month term of 1/1/2020 to 12/31/2021. Kent County is requesting an additional amendment to the contract to extend the agreement from 12/31/21 to 6/30/2022 with an additional $113,000 to continue the TBRA program through July 1, 2022, with a new total of $1,813,000. It is anticipated that new funding from Home-ARP grant funds will replace the Home Grant as a funding source for TBRA beginning July 2022. Community Rebuilders has served 166 households with coaching from a housing resource specialist and necessary rental subsidies to secure housing. Corporate Counsel will review and approve the contract amendment to form prior to signature.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Wooden, support by Commissioner Sparks. We'll take questions, comments, and discussion. Okay, we don't have any questions, comments, or discussion. We will ask for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. That brings us to item number 6 from Kent County Community Action. Al?
Recommend to the Board of Commissioners to extend the sub-award agreement with the Heart of West Michigan United Way to provide emergency rental and utility assistance as part of the COVID Emergency Rental Assistance Program administered by the Michigan State Housing Development Authority. The COVID Emergency Rental Assistance, CERA grant program, assists eligible households who are in rentals and having difficulty making timely payments of rent and utilities due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The state of Michigan distributed approximately $38.5 million to HWMUW. Kent County Community Action partnered with HWMUW as a subrecipient responsible for assisting residents to complete CERA applications, reviewing applications and required documentation, determining eligibility for assistance, communicating with applicants, landlords, and utility companies, conducting quality control, and processing payments to landlords and utilities. The county board approved the subaward agreement with the HWMUW, appropriated $1,030,925, and authorized temporary staffing to provide CERA services to Kent County residents through December 31, 2021 via Resolution 03252128. The program has since been extended through September 30, 2022. At the end of November, 9,624 people in Kent County had been assisted, receiving an average of $2,657 per person. To date, $600,715 of the budget has been spent through KCCA to assist in the application process and distribution of $24,435,807 in assistance for rent and utility bills across all of the Kent County partner organizations. The current unspent budget balance is $430,210. This is a request to extend the agreement, temporary staffing, and the unspent budget balance through September 30, 2022. Corporate Counsel will review and approve all documents as to form prior to signature. This action item is an activity related to COVID-19.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
Support, whatever I need.
Moved by Commissioner Wooden, support by Commissioner Bolkowski. We'll take questions, comments, and discussion. Commissioner Antor.
Thank you, Chair. I see that 9,624 people received funding. I was just wondering if we knew how many applicants we had total.
I think I do have that data point here. Applications received was 9,478, and that's for all of Kent County.
We gave out more.
No, it's not the right, because,
It can't be right.
Right.
Because we don't have that many, we got more money going out than we had applicants.
Okay, you know what, that's probably the difference between individuals and households.
so this number is at households? It doesn't say you have,
I mean, if you multiply 9,624 down by 2,657, it actually comes a million over 24.4, 25.5. So some of the math is slightly, at least unless my calculator's wrong.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to double check on that, you're right. We get our data from the United Way and they capture it for all of Kent County. So, for all of the partners, so I'll have to go back to the program manager over there and double check.
We'll get that and send it to the committee.
So we have
All updated data.
one application per household would come in. Or
I'm not sure about that, because it may be that there's multiple applications for different needs, for rent or for utilities. I'm not sure if it's all captured in one document.
Al, can we circle
Check on
back to
that.
that a little bit and get some clarity?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Bukowski?
Thank you, Chair. And then I guess what we're doing is we're just extending the term because there's still $430,000 of staff. I mean, the support is for our staff to do this work. And so, again, fast math, it's like $14 million or $13 million left of these dollars yet to allocate to households that could be eligible. All right, so that's cool. But then the budget sheet that was given to us, once again, the math was confusing to me. And again, I read on my phone, so it's pretty small print. But that total personnel of 650,000, it doesn't add up the numbers above. So are there just missing columns here and we don't see how it all kind of carries over? So again, this budget sheet might provide more confusion than
Yeah,
illumination for
Yeah.
one such as me.
I think that's right, and it's just one piece of the larger program, so that is a little bit confusing. So I'll find out I'll get some more information on that too. We can follow up with you.
All right. So again, all we're doing is extending this to September 30th, not adding new dollars, it's federal dollars that are already at United Way, or United Way has the access to it, and our staff can help pass these dollars out appropriately.
Yes, us and the other partners, Salvation Army is continuing as well.
So again, in spite of the missing numbers today, it's still
Extending
It's
the
still all right.
length of time that we can support
Yeah.
the program.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely need to tighten up the numbers, thank you. I think Commissioner Ansel on that.
Okay, anyone else? Right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. One opposed, that motion still passes. We will go to item number 7, which is also from Kent County Community Action. Al?
Yes. Action requested, recommend to the Board of Commissioners to accept and approve the Home ARP grant agreement with HUD and appropriate $3,352,764 to the 2021-22 Community Development Federal Project Fund Home Investment Partnership Program, ARP budget, and to authorize the board chair or designee to execute the grant agreement, approve extensions, amendments, and increases to the grant appropriation not to exceed 15% of the original award. Kent County has been awarded a Home ARP grant for $3,352,764, provided through HUD's Office of Community Planning and Development. 5% of the total award, or $167,638, can be spent on creating the Home ARP allocation plan and amending the 2021 Annual Action Plan. Both will be approved by HUD and the Board of Commissioners in 2022 after various planning sessions occur on how to spend the funds. An existing home consortium agreement with the City of Wyoming allows its combined home program jurisdiction to span all of Kent County excluding the City of Grand Rapids. The Home ARP grant will assist individuals or households who are homeless, at risk of homelessness, and other vulnerable populations. Kent County will consult with the local continuum of care to prepare the Home ARP allocation plan. Eligible activities could include production or preservation of affordable housing, tenant-based rental assistance, supportive services, homeless prevention services, and housing counseling, and purchase and development of non-congregate shelter. The grant period runs from September 21, 2021 through September 30, 2030. Prior to signature, Corporate Counsel will review and approve all documents.
Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Commissioner Breve, support by Commissioner Sparks. We'll take questions, comments, and discussion. We'll start with Commissioner Wooden.
Thank you, Chair. Regarding the third bullet, happy to see that we'll be consulting with our local continuum of care. I would urge that we consult with The other stakeholders that, our local continuum of care is both providers of housing and also providers of services, but it may be valuable for us to consult with groups like the Kent County Permanent Housing Coordination Council, different housing providers, so that we can not only nail down effective ways to providing tenant-based rental assistance and support services, housing counseling, but also the actual development of affordable housing, so that we can get many of these individuals out of a system that perpetuate, or get them out of a service system and into permanent housing. That was it.
Okay. Commissioner Bukowski.
Saw how you did that, Commissioner Wooden. Nail this down. I don't know if anybody else caught that, but we're going to nail this down as we're building some affordable housing. Sorry for that. That fell pretty flat. Second to the last bullet point, tough crowd on a December morning. December 30th, or September 30th, 2030? I thought ARP had to be allocated by 24 and spent by 26, but this goes to 30? That's not a,
Typo.
that's just a HUDism?
Hey everybody, it's Chad Kaufman from Kent County Community Action. Yeah, that's correct. September of 2030, so it's almost a 10-year period, as designated actually in the Act. So we have quite some time to spend down the funds. The funds do have to be targeted towards homelessness.
Right.
Or towards homeless or people at risk of homelessness. So if we do build affordable housing, it has to be for that population, so unlike home.
But again,
A long time.
to spend. After you take out the 5%, it's $3.2 million.
And the 5% is actually what we can spend towards admin planning.
Correct.
Initially.
Right.
Total of 10% of admin, but yes.
Right, but still, it's only $3 million spread over 8 years, which in this economy, it's like, what, a unit and a half?
Yeah, I don't
Sorry for that
anticipate it
sarcasm.
lasting that long, but yes,
Yeah.
we have that period of time to spend down the funds, and then there are different target spend down ratios during that 10-year period.
Oh, yeah.
But we have up to that period of time to spend down the funds.
All right, mark your calendar. Thanks,
Is
sir.
it going to be new buildings, or is it what?
Well,
What
we'll
is
be
this?
meeting with local partners to decide how to allocate the funds. We do have to submit a home ARP allocation plan to HUD. We're anticipating doing that April, May of 2022 after meeting with partners for a few months. There will be a public comment period and public meeting associated with that to decide what we spend the money for. As mentioned in one of the other resolutions, we anticipate that some of the money may be allocated towards rental assistance, towards TBRA, which would open up the regular home funds to be used for a broader population of affordable housing development. So the combination of the two funding sources perhaps would lead to more affordable housing.
Are we gonna get a follow-up on how this actually shakes out? It sounds like this is one step of a few, right?
Correct. So during after the home allocation plan is put together, will be put forward with to the board for review. We do actually have to go back and amend our 2021 community development annual action plan in order to work this in, and that will come before the board for review. So associated with that will be how the funds will be spent.
Okay. Yes, Commissioner Sparks.
Thank you, Madam Chair. TBRA, which I assume is an acronym for?
Sorry, tenant-based rental assistance.
Hey, Commissioner Antor?
Thank you, Chair. It seems like we've kind of gone over quite a bit of material here, how we're already helping with homelessness and assisting with people that are vulnerable. Under this agenda item, what does risk of homelessness mean here as opposed to some of the other ones we've already addressed? Is there another subset of homelessness that we haven't already?
So that could be households that are facing eviction, about to be homeless. So, or maybe perhaps they are living with others and that's coming to an end, so they're about to be homeless. So all the funds have to be used for a qualifying population, which is homeless or at risk of homeless, unlike the regular home funds, which are open to a broader population.
Yes, Commissioner Wooden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to build on my colleague's comments, to draw maybe a difference between the SERA funds that we've been deliberating on and these. SERA was appropriated by Congress to help those who were temporarily made unstable because of the pandemic, whereas Home TBRA is for those who've had long-standing instability for one reason or another that will existed before the pandemic and exists after. And if I'm understanding correctly from Mr. Kaufman, these ARP funds going to specifically designated for those who are homeless or at risk of homelessness would allow us to free up the regular allocation of home funds that we do get to help with making our housing market more affordable by putting more potential brick and mortar projects into the ground. Am I understanding that correctly?
That's it. That's the anticipation, yes, is that the home ARP funds, $3.3 million, will be used towards addressing homeless and at risk of homelessness, while the regular home dollars can be freed up. We receive about $900,000 a year from HUD in regular home funds that could be freed up towards development or assisting those that are not necessarily at risk of homelessness.
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Antwer.
Thank you, Chair. Would you have the numbers about how many people apply for this over the past year?
The home ARP funding is actually new funding. We've never received it before.
Yeah, I mean, will you have, I guess, moving forward, will you have the number for us at some point? How many applied, then how many actually got it? How many didn't?
Yes, we'll have reporting data available once the programs are designed. We don't know exactly
Right.
how this will roll out.
Yep.
But yeah, we will have reporting data that will actually be presented on an annual basis to the board as part of our annual reporting to HUD. The report first comes to the board as well.
Similarly, Al, I'd like to just take a look at these numbers too, applications, how many were rejected. Thank you very much, I appreciate your time.
Commissioner Bukowski.
Yeah, because we have 4 items today directly related to housing, and, you know, the unmet needs hits housing, at least indirectly. Maybe, and you at least forewarned us that you're gonna come back next year and ask us to approve the plan. Maybe, Chair, if whoever's in that chair next year, or, you know, that we could have a work session on what the county's doing related to housing, so we can see how this fits. And, you know, I have seen some of the continuum of care flow charts, and it takes a few hours to kind of understand it if you're not in that system, and it probably takes longer to understand it if you're in the system. So again, just so that we get a better idea of what you're juggling, and so this stuff makes more sense in context. I mean, is that, because we had a work session, it seems like forever ago, on affordable housing. Somewhere it's on our radar, we want to address affordable housing. How does this help hurt unintended consequences of all these dollars, you know? Because it's almost like every time we think we're pushing the lever to make something affordable, the balloon squeezes on another part of the market, and it's just like, oh my gosh, how'd that happen, you know? So anyways, just significantly before this comes to us to approve the plan, again, just for you to, again, show off how you know what HUD's talking about, because I don't. I'll leave it at that, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of moving parts with the different funding sources, so we can work with the administration to schedule some.
All right, well, only if the chair allows. So, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. That brings us to agenda item number 8 from Fiscal Services. Al?
Action requested, recommend to the Board of Commissioners to extend the subaward agreement with the Heart of West Michigan United Way, HWMUW, for payment, processing, and disbursement of approved emergency assistance awards as part of the COVID Emergency Rental Assistance, CERA program, administered by the Michigan State Housing Development Authority, or MISHDA. The COVID Emergency Rental Assistance Grant Program assists eligible households who are in rentals and having difficulty making timely payments of rent and utilities due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The county's Fiscal Services Department processes the payments and disbursement of approved CERA Emergency Assistance Awards, which assist eligible households having difficulties making timely payments of rent and utilities due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The county board approved the subaward agreement with HWMUW, appropriated $374,220 to reimburse fiscal services and the county for indirect costs resulting from the payment processing relating to the CERA program through December 31, 2021 via Resolution 422-2138. The program has since been extended through September 30, 2022. To date, $46,526 of the budget has been spent to issue checks in the amount of $24,435,807 in assistance for rent and utility bills. The current unspent budget balance is $327,694. This is a request to extend the agreement, temporary staffing, and the unspent budget balance through September 30, 2022. Corporate Counsel will review and approve all documents as to form. This action item is an activity related to COVID-19.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Okay, moved by Commissioner Bukowski, support by Commissioner Sparks. We'll take questions, comments, and discussion. Yes, Commissioner Bukowski.
If I'm following this correctly, this is tied to item number 6, and it's the $38.5 million bucket of CERA funds that came to the county. And this is the part that reimbursed our staff for the issuing of the checks that community development staff said, these people are eligible, please write a check to Mr. and Mrs. Jones. Okay. So now that I got that figured out, my question is, if we've only spent, and this is fast math, it seems we've allocated 2/3 of the money, 24 million of 38 million, fast math. So we've expended 2/3, but it's only cost us, which is, you know, we got good staff, it only cost us 15% of the available funding to write those checks. So we have $327,000 left. Do we need all that money to be carried forward for this, or do we only need a fraction of that, and some of that $327,000 could be kicked back to the pot of CERA funding and maybe help another dozen families? I mean, it just seems like, we've only spent $46,000 to issue $24 million in checks. Do we need $327,000 to issue $12 million left in check, or $14 million left in checks?
And unfortunately, I'm the only one here who can really speak to the program today, and I don't have that detail, so I'll have to follow up with you on that one as well.
So at least, I mean, at this point, we're just carrying it over till September 30th, and then maybe sometime early '22, we'll realize we're not going to need this for that express purpose, and we could potentially free money up for other parts of this process? Or are there bills waiting to be paid of this that's going to expend that $300,000?
I think we would typically look at this at the end of the program and see what's left and then reallocate it then.
But again, because it's CERA dollars, there's probably significant time windows. And
Yeah.
So just, again, it just struck me that we only spent $46,000 unless, you know, and there's, yeah, I mean, it just seemed proportionate. Just, again, that just is kind of wacky in my brain. I do simple math, and the simple math was wacky. All right.
I'll follow up with the committee on that piece as
Yeah.
well.
All right, thank you.
We will get you good numbers on this, and we will explain, you know, the timing to actually reallocate that and not violate the grant deadline or anything like that.
Or send it back to DC.
Right, we don't want to do that either.
Correct.
Right.
People in need. Exactly. All right, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Antor?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I know it's not intentional, but a lot of these numbers are fuzzy to me as well, and it just seems like there's a whole pile of money coming in from all different directions, and it's hard for me to parse everything out. I'm not going to be supporting this just until I get a little more clarity on, you know, what exactly is in play here. I'm not smart enough to get it at this point. Above my pay grade, and I don't want to really decide based on speculation here, because I'm not sure about a lot of this stuff moving forward. So I'm going to not vote affirmatively on this one until I get a little more clarity for the next meeting.
Okay. Anyone else with questions, comments? All right, with that, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion still passes for item 8. We're going to go to item 9, which is public comment. Is there anyone who would like to address the committee for public comment? Seeing none, we will close public comment. That brings us to Commissioner Miscellaneous. Is there any Commissioner Miscellaneous? All right, not seeing any Commissioner Miscellaneous. Before we adjourn, I will add that the next meeting will not be Tuesday, December 21st. Don't say I never gave you guys anything for the holidays. We are going to not have that meeting. It will be January 4th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. And with that, we are adjourned.